Oh, what is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm the only guy in the room without a beard.
Oh, yeah, do you know what? I hadn't noticed that.
I'm Ant.
And hereby, you have to grow a beard.
I have to grow a beard. It's got to be official, right?
You have to grow a beard, and it has to be a substantial one as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can ever grow out to that, but hey, I'll try.
Yeah. So, let's talk about something very, very serious, Ant.
Okay.
Where the hell have you been?
Where have you been, buddy?
Work. Let's just leave it at work.
Do you accept that? I mean, I've been at work. Have you been at work?
I've been at work.
Yeah.
We've all been at work.
Sound like a very good excuse, that, James.
Yes, I know.
How have you been, James?
I have been fine.
Good.
Apart from work.
Good. How have you been, Ant?
I've been fine, apart from work.
Excellent. Would you believe that I've also been fine, apart from work?
There we go. We've all been fine, apart from work.
Yep. I mean, it would be an absolute lie if I said that, but still, that it is what it is. It is what it is. But yes, how have you been this week, guys? It's been about a week and a half since I've seen you. I think.
Has it?
I can't even remember when we
I
last.
saw you last week for last week's episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you probably did.
It's been a week for me. I
keep-
don't know how long it's been for you and James, though.
I get confused because these now only come out every 2 weeks. Yet we're recording as much as possible
This
because
is
of
true.
work. I've lost track of.
No, you're right.
When,
I didn't see you last week. You're
There you
absolutely
go.
right. No, you are
There
right.
you go. I'm
You are right.
vindicated. You were wrong and I was right, as per normal.
No, normal.
The
James.
status quo is
The
restored.
status quo is indeed restored.
Super restored.
So, James, with all your work and working things, what have you been up to other than work and working things?
Work and working things is about all I've been up
Wow,
to.
that sounds like a very fun life.
It's really not. Although we did get some gaming in.
Yeah, I think you've been to one.
Yes.
Managed to get up to one games night, which
La-
I believe was last week, which
Wednesday.
You weren't.
I wasn't there for, no.
We won't talk about what we played because we'll be talking about that in, I don't know, like 30 seconds time. So
Indeed.
make people wait. There's a hint. There is a hint somewhere on the screen. But yes, yeah. So anything else that you want to talk about in this intro banter bit before we go on to talking about games we've played?
No, let's crack on.
Excellent. Crack on. Shall we let James go first?
Let's
The
let
games
James
we've
go
played?
first.
Yeah, it's been a while. James, what games have you been playing in the last 4 months since we last saw you?
I have played exactly one game. Thanks, work.
All joking aside, though, it's not been 4 months.
No,
It's only been like three weeks since we actually had a game night proper.
indeed.
We just haven't been on the podcast this year.
Yes. Last Wednesday was my return to gaming.
And then you promptly disappeared off the face of the planet again.
I'm here.
Yes, this is very true.
Yes. So last Wednesday we played Rock Hard 1977.
We did! Finally!
Finally.
I've only had it since Essen.
Yes. Finally.
Yes. What did you think of it? Should we talk about it? Make Ant feel really jealous because he hasn't played it yet.
It was
Not
good.
played it yet.
It was good.
It was very good.
It was good.
What
How
did you
good?
like about it? How good was it?
Oh, it was very. I mean, it's worker placement. Immediate thumbs up from me. I love a good worker placement, and the theme just. What's not to love about the theme?
Yeah, because you sort of went before talking about how you'd been in a band before and stuff like that. So did it live up to your expectations for what it was?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I really liked the other game that's kind of in the same vein,
Draft and Right
Draft and Right
Yeah.
Records, which is a different beast for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But this I think is what I want what I wanted Draft and Right Records to be.
Okay.
So does it top Draft and Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still on the fence as to whether I agree with that statement, whether I think it's better.
Topical episode.
The main reason I am sort of in that boat of I'm not really sure is because they are two very different beasts.
Yeah.
I love Draft and Right Records. I think I said it was one of my favorite
It
games.
was your number one last year.
My number one game of 2020.
Four.
Is it 4? That's the one. Yeah, we're in 2025 now. And I stand by that. It really was my favorite. I played it so many times. It has become obvious, I think, that I do like me a nice roll and write game. So that might have helped it get to that sort of level. However, had I played this Rock Hard 1977
Last year.
actually in 2024, would it have made it into that list? And I definitely feel that it would have made my top 5.
Yep.
Not sure what it would have knocked out of the top 5, but 100% it would have been in there.
Yeah.
Really, really good game. I can't wait to play it with you, Ant.
Yeah, look forward to it.
And I think the best thing to say is candy, James. Candy.
Yes, candy. Candy.
I was always under the impression that obviously when you're in a rock band, you're in a metal band, it's all the the sex, the illicit substances, because we're not allowed to say the other word on YouTube.
Yep.
And evidently it was all wrong. It was incorrect. It's all about candy. There is no such thing as illicit substances. It's all sweets. And that is represented incredibly well in the game. Yes. So evidently what we now know is Ozzy Osbourne was a huge fan of Werther's Originals.
Yes.
So there you go. Breaking news. Werther's Originals are Ozzy's go-to sweet.
It was never a bat.
It was never a bat. No, never anything else. It was Werther's Originals. But yeah, really, really good game.
Yep.
Worker placement elements to it.
Yep.
Really, really cool.
Not without its faults, but we'll save that for when we actually do the breakdown of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very enjoyable. And like the theme oozes through it. It's just so well put together.
It does. I mean, one of my favourite sort of thematic touches to it, just to finish it off, is the having to maintain a job.
Yes.
While trying to make it as a rock star and potentially getting fired.
Yes.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's good game to have played. Shame you haven't managed to get more games in.
Indeed. But that's been on my radar. I know you said you got it at Essen, but we saw it.
Oh, we knew it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it
at Expo.
Yeah, I saw it at Expo for the first time, and when I saw the guitar amp player boards, I just stood up on their display as I was over to that stand like a shot.
Very quickly, last thing, what did you think of the production?
Oh, the production was just top notch. Yeah. You know, as a rock and metal fan and all things there, just the fact that the amp knobs go to 11.
They do. Yes.
That's it. Win.
Big win.
Yeah.
Big win.
The game won just on that.
So we are going to be playing that again very soon.
Yeah.
100%, because I know Ant definitely wants to play. You're a big Devier Games fan?
Well, I've been wanting to play this for ages. I knew about it at the beginning of the year, and I mentioned it to you guys, and then when you said they were going to be at Expo and we actually got to see it, my hype level just went through the roof. And I think I originally was the guy to pre-order it, but then you were like, I think I'll do it because I'm the band guy. So I was like, okay, you take it, mate. So
yeah, because I think you were going to get it, because at the time you had every Devier game that there was.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
it made sense for you to have it, but then theme-wise,
it's better for you guys to have it. Yeah, I think you guys would appreciate it more than me, but I'm still looking forward to it.
And I'm so glad I bought the folded space insert, because that made setup so much easier. Oh, thank God. But yeah, very good game to have played, James. What about you, Ant? Have you managed to play any games since I spoke to you?
I did. We can turn back time because I actually got to play the Hasbro version of Hero Quest.
You did?
I did.
saw the pictures.
I did, yeah. So I got to meet up with the guys, Legends of Podcasting, and they already had a little campaign going. And one of their players didn't show up, and they asked if I can come last minute. I was actually off work at the time, so I thought I'll jump in. And yeah, just big nostalgia moment for me. I mean, I can't believe it's been that long since I played it. I think the last time I played it was probably I was 9 or 10 years old when I last played that game. I can still remember the adverts. We quote it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was just nice to play. Like they still got the same characters. There's slightly different designs to them because Hasbro has obviously redone everything. But when I was the wizard guy, I remembered him and the artwork from the original one. It just, yeah, it's such a fun ride and go back and play it again. Just so many memories just come back.
Nice. So how many people were quoting the adverts, and how many people were quoting?
Only I was. Only I was.
Oh, no.
And I was looking for the broadsword. It didn't pop up yet. So
did anyone quote the bard?
No, none of it. No, none of it.
It wasn't a game of Hero Quest.
No, not at all. But the Dungeon Master guy was pretty good. So yeah, look forward to giving that a go again.
How did you find it, like quality wise, compared to like the original? Because obviously the original you had the pewter minis. And
yeah.
They because my partner's got it in the other room, and I'm just not. I'm not keen on how cheaper feel the plastic minis.
I was
have.
about to say, because a lot of it was a cardboard attached to the plastic in the original, and now it's just all plastic in this.
Yeah.
When you see the little desks and the little bookshelves, they're not as, like I said, the cardboard attached to the plastic, and and some of the characters they redesigned, like the gargoyle, the big bad guy who's like stands out like that. I remember him, and you can move his head and stuff, and you can't even do that with these new ones now. They're very stiff now as they are. But
So that iconic sort of gargoyle stance you had in the original, it's just not the character of the game.
this is it. No,
with the new one. That was
they're very
my
menacing in
big
that one, but not as much in this version. But yeah,
So, a bit
that's
of a
all I got to
shame
play.
that- did you only play one game, or did you do a couple?
No, we did two. We did two, like, because the first one was kind of like an intro to an expansion that we're playing. So that was quite quick. And then we got another round in, which was really good because it was all about, I forgot about finding the traps and the hidden doors, as well as all the treasures you can do. So it was a case of like, oh, we've come to dead end. Let's go back and look for hidden passages on this one. Again, just a nice nostalgia feel to come back to it again. And all because, again, it's been ages since I played it. So a lot of the rules were coming back to me as I was playing along with it.
Nice.
So yeah, really, really good fun.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
a game we haven't played in donkeys years.
I think the last time I played Hero Quest, I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of a long time ago at this point. I'm kind of jealous, if I'm honest. I am kind of jealous. I would like to play Hero Quest again. I know it's not like the best by modern standards or anything, but I have fond memories of it.
Yeah,
you know?
it's for the nostalgia trip at this point, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they've got way more expansions now than they did back then, and I believe there's still more coming out as well. So it's quite, a fair package of stuff you can play with now.
Yes.
So yeah.
So I played. I learned and played another game that I actually got Essen on Monday earlier on in this week. I learnt and played Rumblebots, which
Really,
I finally did do it. I finally did it.
wow.
And
You are going through that Essen stack, didn't you?
I was determined. I needed to start smashing through some of these games.
So how is it?
It's good fun.
Yeah?
It's good fun. It's quite light. It's a hard one to try and describe, to be honest, because it's kind of like it's obviously got the theme of like Robot Quest Arena, where you've got a battle bot and you're fighting robots against each other. The actual game mechanisms, I'd say it's quite close to Challengers, where you've got the deck of cards which you're revealing.
I do like
that's
both those
how
games.
you're battling the robots.
Okay.
So
is it just a deck of cards, or is there a board or anything? Or
you do have there's no miniatures, nothing like that. So there's no robots moving around, but you do have a like an open drafting section in the middle. So you are able to build your deck. So it is a bit of a deck builder. And then when it comes to battling time, after everyone's done their stuff, you shuffle your cards. The champion is how it's referred to, is the defender. They reveal a card and put it on its defensive stance. It'll have a shield value.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to beat in order to destroy it. So I'm then turning cards over until I beat it. Once I beat it, I become the champion.
Okay.
And then the next player goes, they have to attack me. And basically it's last man standing. You just keep going until everyone's either run out of cards, or everyone has, or the champion has survived.
Okay.
Basically. So yeah, you have to, if you're the champion at the end, you get some crystals. Crystals are then converted to, I'll say, money.
Right.
In the next round, it's scrap.
Yep.
And scrap is used to buy
It's
new
your currency,
robots.
yeah.
So that's how you're battling. You're basically building a deck of robots that are going to fight the other robots.
Yeah.
And then by the end and the big finale, you've got a nice big array of robots. If you get robots of the same suit, when you are defending as a champion, you pick a suit, and all of their defenses meld together.
Okay.
So like in the last round, in the first round, you might have 2 shield.
Yeah.
Whereas in that last round, once you've built up your deck, if you've done it properly, as I did, I ended up having something like 27 shields and the ability to block 6 critical damage.
Wow.
So it really ramps up over
Yeah.
a 6-round game. So yeah, it's really, really good fun. I would recommend us playing it very soon.
Yeah, I'd like
It's
to.
very, very
Yeah.
good fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
it's-
good.
Like you said, Robot Quest Arena and Challenges. Sign me up. I love those games.
You're due Robot Quest Arena at some point soon, aren't you?
It's meant to be this year, but I'd be surprised if it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I'll be very surprised if it shows up this year.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed it does, because I'd like to play some of the new stuff and the bigger maps and
Yes.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I did enjoy that game.
Mm.
There's just like that sounds really good, but nothing. The thing that makes Robot Cross Arena stand out to me is that board with the miniatures.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's
Totally. Yeah.
just takes you straight back to Robot Wars.
Yeah. And I will say one more thing with regards to Rumble Bots. The choice of art in it is very
I was about to ask, is the
interesting.
artwork good?
The artwork is very good. There's some very clear inspiration in it.
Right.
Like, for example, one of your starting cards, you've got like a chicken or bird of some sort riding on like a flying robot thing.
Okay.
But the bird almost immaculately resembles the yellow bird from Angry Birds.
Mm.
And the thing that it's flying on looks almost exactly like Dr. Robotnik's.
Oh, no way. I know, the little spacecraft thing, yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely some inspiration in there.
Okay.
So
the Easter egg, if you know, you know.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff in there. Like, there's a robot called T-Bot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The shape of a teapot.
Sure.
We did notice that particular suit looks like everything is inspired by Beauty and the Beast. Because you had the teapot.
Yeah.
There's a candle.
Yeah, come on, there you go.
It's got to be Lumiere, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a few other things in there from that movie. The big brush thing as well. So yeah, there's some very cool inspiration, I think, in that game. So yeah, really good fun. Very good.
I look forward to giving it a go.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Again.
Okay,
guys. So now it's time for our main event topic of the day. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, good. Well, we got a top 5. We got a top 5
Top
to do.
5.
The second one on video. James, your first one on video.
My first one on video. I came prepared.
I know. Would you believe this? He actually turned up with a list.
What?
He
You need to put
actually
a fainting gif on this in the background.
I do. We're all fainting.
Usually
here.
the one I send you.
But yes, James actually prepared for this for the first time ever. I think this whole being on camera might actually be scaring him a bit, like to the point that he's actually doing some preparations, James.
Yeah, I know. Now that we're being filmed, I can't just wing it.
Exactly. that was the secret behind it all. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
of course it was.
It was
Now
mine
you
and
can
Ant's
see
plan
the
all along.
winging.
Winging at its best. So yeah, we are going to be talking about. It doesn't have to be like the top 5 games that we wish we'd played sooner. It's just 5 games we wish we played sooner. So I'm not doing mine in any.
So it's the regret that we didn't get to play them when they were like out and stuff.
Exactly.
Or...
It might be a case of, a game's been out for a few years and then you finally played it and then be like, oh my God, I wish I'd played this sooner.
Yeah.
This game was amazing. Yeah. It might be a case of, I don't know, a particular game you've seen and gone, oh God, no, I wish I'm never going to play that. But then maybe you have and then gone, oh my God, what an idiot I was. That kind of thing. So, that's how I interpret that. So that would be my question to you guys. How did you interpret that question when I pitched it to you?
I think I said to you before we actually went live here. It's sort of like, because I still count myself as a relative newbie when it comes to board gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of looked at this as a lot of the ones on my list were the games that I played fairly close to the beginning of getting into this hobby.
Yeah.
And then my reaction to, why have I not
done this sooner?
I didn't realize board games were this good.
Yeah. So the ideal thing for you really would be as if I hadn't have said a top 5 or whatever, you could have just gone basically every game.
Yeah, because I said to you,
I avoided it for so long.
This one was both very easy and very difficult for me, because very easy in the terms of, well, a lot of the games that I play for the first time are, why have I never heard about this sooner? Because, the other thing is, as you two well know, it's like I don't tend to do a lot of research into what's coming out and all that kind of stuff, because I actually like to be surprised when I like to have a game put down in front of me and still have that feeling of, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot.
And then when you do enjoy it, it becomes that reaction of, oh, why have I never heard of this game? It's like that surprise is
Probably
still,
because you didn't do any research.
yeah. But I like that feeling. But the flip side to that, when you do research, is that you get excited for a game up front.
This is very true. And I would argue that in James's instance, it's the added bonus is that he doesn't have to buy games.
True.
The one game I've ever known James to actually research, and he bought it. So James, you need to start researching some games.
Yeah, there's a reason I stay away from the site, because I have no impulse control.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah,
aren't we, really.
Truly, mate.
Can't
although-
impulse buy if I don't know it exists.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, setting the room out the way it is, I'm just constantly reminded of my impulses because they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Here, there, and everywhere.
Even when James turned up today, I was sort of impulse buying or impulse shopping, should we say, stuff for the studio. So
Yeah.
it's I have to remember. It's like, no, you don't have infinite money, Jason. But yeah,
None of us do. So,
but what about you, man? How did you find it?
Where's that cheat code
So-
when you need it?
Yeah.
slight mimic to what James has said, but also I'm probably the guy who got into the hobby last out of the three of us. So I was sort of recommended by friends and other podcasts that here are these games for you to try, but I never knew about these games over here.
Yeah.
So mine are kind of in that direction, as well as I couldn't probably afford them at the time or have the players at the time because, again, still new to the hobby. So mine is kind of like jumbled up into one out of those five there. Some I probably wouldn't even own, or, I just really enjoyed. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could have made it really difficult and said you have to own the game,
No.
but that would immediately eradicate James from the list.
No, a couple I do, but yeah.
Top one.
Some I definitely enjoyed playing and just wish I knew them sooner because I probably could have got it and introduced it to other players. So, but no, I don't own a couple of these. So
Okay, that's all right. I can't even. I probably don't own most of mine. But yeah, ease of building this list. How did you find that?
it was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think I had a couple straight away, which was like my 1 and 2, but then I had to really think about what I played back in ages ago and
Yeah.
thought to myself what I really liked, but also not try and repeat myself from other episodes we've done as well.
Of
So
course,
I had to really think about what to do. But I'm happy with it in the end.
Yeah.
I had 4. Last minute there was a 5. So now,
Nice.
yeah, we got it.
Nice. I managed to get to about 6 with mine.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, I think mine are actually a good combination of both of your collections, basically.
Oh, I wonder why, James.
Okay.
Well, I've played plenty of games at the gaming club that
This
don't
is
belong to either of you,
This
but
is
yeah,
very true.
from my list, they're games that either one of you has introduced me to.
Yeah, I would say noticing my list that most of my games are of an age at this point,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I've found that any games that have come out recently, I've tended to play them and fairly soon after their
Yeah.
release. So I don't feel like I wish I played this.
Yeah.
one. Rock Hard 1977 might be one of them, because I really did enjoy that. I was like, God, I really wish we'd played this when we got back from Essen,
Because it probably would have been your top 5.
because it would have been in my top 5. I said, it could have been in the list. I can say that it's not. It would have been an honourable mention.
I'll be honest,
But yeah,
mine.
I've just sort of said, I would say I've got to have known about the game for at least a decent amount of time before I would say, I wish I'd played this sooner.
Yeah, I was going to say mine are at least 5-6 years old, all of them.
Okay.
So yeah,
Most of mine are.
Yeah, I figured they would be, because we're now all in a situation, aren't we, where we play regularly. We tend to play games together, and we get newer games to table.
I'll throw in. I've got a couple honorable mentions, but they were more to do with missing out on Kickstarter
Yes.
of them. So that's why they made. We're going to make the list, but they didn't quite make it.
Okay. Well, are you ready to start the lists, sir? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Excellent. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the countdown.
Okay, so we are going to really break from the norm here, and we're going to make James go first.
You're going to make me go first.
So, James. Your number 5, sir.
My number 5 is Scythe.
Scythe. Okay. Okay. Talk
And I'm
to
going to
us.
jump in because it's my number 5 as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way. Okay, James, you start off. Talk to us about Scythe.
Scythe. So it made the list at the number 5 slot because it was either, because I'm testing my memory here, really either the first or second proper modern board game that I played, and it was at the former Crawley Gaming store. You, me, and Ed, and the other game I believe was Wingspan that we played on that day.
We did, yes.
And Scythe, just at the time, good, well-built strategy game, area control, economy mechanics. It really was a why have I never heard of this game?
Yeah. And I guess for you coming from a war game background, that sort of
It
really
just
worked.
immediately, like, Wingspan was a bit meh as far as I was concerned, but like if we just played Wingspan that day, I'd have probably wandered away from that going, yeah, modern board gaming's all right.
Yeah.
Scythe was definitely
the win.
I want more games like this.
Yes.
Why have I never heard of this game before? Why has no one ever spoken to me about this before? I didn't realize board games were this good.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's very, very fair, and a very good reason to have it.
Yeah. So probably really my introduction to modern board gaming, Scythe.
Nice. What about you, Ant? Why did Scythe make the list for you?
So for me, with the hobby, knowing what the gateway games are and what the popular games were at the time, I knew of Scythe. I'd seen what Scythe would look like, but I don't think it was going to be that game for me because of how intimidating it looks. We mentioned this before with big games and stuff and all the pieces around. The amount of times I looked at it and thought to myself, I don't really want to learn this. I might not even have the players for it, nor do I want to splash out, what was it at the time, 60, 70 quid at the time when it came out?
Yeah, it was a fair old whack, wasn't
it? To play it once and never play it again. So I thought, let's have an opportunity and wait till someone has it. Obviously, Wayne from Board Stupid taught me as well as yourself.
Yep.
And it just opened my eyes. It wasn't that type of game I thought it was. I thought it was a massive heavy hitter, like you mentioned with James with the Warhammer side of it and war game sort of thing. I thought it'd be something like that at least, but it's really not. And my surprise to it was that I wish I knew this sooner, because I probably would have bought it if I knew how easy it is to play and not as intimidating as it does look, to put players off. So yeah, it's on there for that reason, that it just totally blew my socks off and it was not what I expected it to be.
Very nice. Well, I'm going to upset the apple cart here a little bit and say that my number 5 is Scythe.
Is it really?
It is.
No way.
Yeah, I thought I'd just add in that little bit at the end there. But yeah, genuinely, Scythe was my number 5. Echoing what both of you have said. But for me, the main reason was I'd already played some games from the modern board game genre. But this was my first step into what I deem as my realm of modern board games. Before that, I'd played, they were all hobby games, but they were more lighter weight family level games that I was playing. But Scythe was the one. Again, it was, as you said, I was with Wayne from Board Stupid. He introduced me to this. We played Root as well, I believe, on the night that I played this with him. And I just loved it. I fell in love with it because, again, wargaming background, I was an instant brain was functioning on all cylinders of collecting resources and, going into the fight and losing, evidently, which, yes, I did quite badly, if I remember correctly, in my very first game of Scythe. But yeah, it was just it was my first real introduction to a true large-scale production. It was my first introduction to a heavier weight game, and obviously now I know it's not heavyweight by any means, but it definitely
sure does look it.
Yeah,
it looks it.
From a newbie's perspective, it really does.
Yeah, when you've played things like the Vital Lacerda games, it makes Scythe look like babies play. But I guess when you're really green in the hobby, Scythe was one of those that, and like I said, it was one of my first introductions because it was right after it had come out. I think it was brand spanking new when we first played it, and it was just phenomenal. It opened me up to realizing that I wasn't only capable of playing those lighter weight games. So Scythe did a really good job with that, and it was one of those that I wish I'd played it sooner. But as I said, I played it when it was still brand new, so I couldn't really have played it sooner. So I guess that's kind of a cheat. But meh, it is what it is. It's my list. Don't like it. Jog on. So let's move on to the number 4s. James.
My number 4 is one that Ant, I believe, introduced us to, and it is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Way! All right.
Okay, good choice, sir. Good choice.
Damn good choice.
Why?
Yep.
Why Lost Ruins of Arnak?
It's a combination of, so as we just mentioned in the Scythe thing, I came from a very wargamey background, so I was immediately drawn to strategy type games. I think this and another game that's going to be on my honorable mentions, really my first steps into worker placement,
Okay.
which is a mechanic that I would now put up as my number 1 mechanic.
100%.
I love
Yes.
worker placement games.
Yes.
And I love it because it's still a kind of strategic game in the fact that you've only got a limited amount of workers and you need to accomplish a lot of stuff. So where you put them will shape how your turn forms, basically, and what you're going to be able to do. And there's just so much going on that board, and its production is quite beautiful.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely, man.
And you got to give it added props for the whole Indiana Jones vibe.
Yep,
it's
Of
giving
course,
off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all of that, it was just sort of like, why haven't I heard of this game before?
Yeah.
So thank you, Ant, for introducing me to that one.
Thank you for playing.
Very good choice, sir. Very good choice. And Lost Ruins of Arnak, I can say now it's not on my list, but it is one of my honourable mentions because I didn't play that when it first came out. I think we waited quite a while before we played Lost Ruins, didn't we?
Because it was released in 2020.
Yes.
So we all had to
would be
wait
why,
for
'cause
lockdown to
we
go.
we were good. We didn't meet and play games at all.
At all.
during the lockdowns. No, 100% we didn't do that. Doesn't matter that I started a podcast in person during that time either.
It's work, Jason. You were allowed to meet
It
up
was
at
work. That's right. We're allowed to do it.
And it
at
was
work.
from home. So you
It
could do
was. Well, yeah, but having someone, yeah.
Work from home,
Ian
if
lived
you
with
can.
me. Ian lived with me at the time. Yeah, 100%.
It's fine. It was part of your bubble.
There wasn't a bubble at the time, but yeah, okay, we'll glust over that. But yeah, I love that game. I do love that game. Something chronic, man. Such a good game. We haven't played it with the expansion yet, though. Have we?
No.
We do need to do that.
to do it.
We were talking about it recently, actually.
We
weren't
was, yeah.
So maybe we'll get that to the table at some point soon.
Got to add that one to the list.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the long list.
Very long.
Yes.
Nice, very, very nice. Ant, what about you? What is your number 4?
So my number 4 has already been mentioned. I don't think it's better than Scythe, but I've put it on here higher, slightly higher for a reason, because I think it's a game that I should not have judged a book by its cover. And my number 4 is Wingspan.
Okay.
It simply is because I put off this game for ages because it's a game about birds. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a seriously?
Yeah, who gives
Yeah, who cares? Like, I have no interest into it whatsoever. And then when we finally got it to the table, when Wayne again finally introduced it, I admit I was going in thinking I really don't want to play this.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to be in for a good time. I have no, fascination with birds whatsoever. So let's play it. Let's give it a try. Let's just get out of the way. And wow, I was totally gobsmacked. And it's back to what I was saying about what we've mentioned before, where it's about giving everything once a go.
Yeah. Being an Omni gamer and stuff like that.
And this, I think, is proof in the pudding that I shouldn't have done that and at least given it a try, maybe sooner. Again, I probably might have got it back then and introduced it to other players, but it just, totally blew my socks off to not expecting to what it was as a game. Like I said, I don't think it's better than Scythe, but I just think it really got me as to go, wow, this was actually worth the hype in the end,
Yeah.
So that's why I had to go on the list.
Yeah, so it's an interesting reaction compared to my reaction to Wingspan, which was, it was an okay game. I was very similar. Like, birds, no interest. I was like, yes, the mechanics behind it,
Yeah.
fairly good. But since then, I think I've played better engine builders.
Oh no, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's an okay game. I just think for the time when I first played it,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this was not what I expected whatsoever. That's the only reason why I put it slightly higher than Scythe. I'm in an iron between the two, but I can't deny the first time I played it, I was like, damn, I should have played this sooner. So that's why I've put on this slightly higher than Scythe. But yeah, it's an okay game. But yeah.
Awkward as it is, my number 4 is Wingspan.
Is it really?
It is
Oh,
indeed.
well,
Look, right
we
there.
didn't plan this. We didn't know our top 5s before this, guys.
on the top.
I don't want to
So yeah,
Wow.
Wingspan is my number 4. Now Wingspan made it for slightly different reasons. I fought off playing Wingspan for a good couple of years after it was released.
Yeah.
And that was purely because of the hype.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, no, I'm not going to play this because everyone is hyping this up to be the best thing since sliced bread. And I like sliced bread. So I'm not going to ruin my thoughts of sliced bread by playing this game that's supposedly better. It was a mistake. While now I sit here going, Wingspan, yeah, no, I'm not bothered by Wingspan. I'm not bothered by any of the Span games. I don't care about the Worm Span. I don't care about this new
Fish Span.
fish thing that's coming out. I don't care about it. But Wingspan still holds a place in my heart because of the fact that it was the first game that in modern board games that I put off. I actively went out of my way to not play Wingspan. There were certain nights we went to the comic shop and it was the only game that was being played, and I would rather not play a game than play Wingspan. And again, I hold my hands up now and go, that was probably a mistake. It was a gross over... I don't even know the word that I could use for that, but it was totally unnecessary for me to avoid it as strongly as I was.
But I do understand that, though, because we talk about, fear of missing out a lot, but we don't talk about fear of disappointment enough, which can happen from games that are hyped to the nth degree.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like, you get all excited for it, you play it, and then you end up walking away going,
Yeah.
wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't talk about fear of disappointment enough, I think. I think that's a topical right there.
Yeah, I mean, we did a top 5, didn't we, of games that didn't live up to the hype. And
That's true. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I actually, if I remember correctly, I think I put Wingspan on that. So this is an interesting one for me because it didn't live up to the hype, but by the same token, I also am adult enough to realise that what I was doing was wrong. I shouldn't have avoided it.
Exactly. That's why it's
So-
on mine. Yeah.
I view Wingspan very much as it's an all right game. I will play it if there's nothing else on the table nowadays, but there's always something else on the table.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm kind of over Wingspan, but in its defense, it definitely deserved the hype it got at the time.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge my mistake in fighting it.
It was my introduction to engine builders when we played it.
Yeah.
Again, it was the very first modern board game, really, that I played. And,
Yeah.
But now I have played, as I said, what I would consider better engine builders with themes that actually speak to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I acknowledge it for what it is, but yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. It's okay. I've not played it since that first time, by the way. So
No, I think I haven't played it. I can't even remember the last time I played it. And
It's been a while.
as Jason said, these days it would have to be the only game left with slots open for me to actually go, yeah, I'll play Wingspan.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, there you go. That is my number 4, your number 4. James, you did
Lost Ruins.
Lost Ruins of Arnak. So, yeah, some good games there again. Let's go to the number 3s. James.
My number 3 is once again a game that Ant introduced us to. Yeah, you got 2 on my list, Ant.
2.
Yep,
We made it.
you made two. My number 3 is Champions of Midgard,
Yeah. All right. Woo, woo, woo. Sorry.
a game that I think I irritated both of these two when we played it by being very luckily good at it.
Very
Yes.
good at it.
But yes, another worker placement game
Yep.
with a theme that is just brilliant. I loved the whole. It's not, again, it's more of a worker placement game than a strategy game. You still have to collect your resources and you have to fight the people coming in from the top,
the trolls and the other monsters from overseas and everything.
And then you also have to go on the voyage, the Viking voyages.
That's
and
it,
fight the sea monsters. Oh, it was just such a brilliant game, and I think broke my losing streak as well when I did so well at it. So you know, it's got to get props for that.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that one. A
It's
game
so good.
that I have been meaning to actually ask you to bring back at some point.
It'll happen, mate, because I love that game. It's in my top 5 favorites of all time. So I'm surprised it hit you on that level. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say with regards to the level that it's hit, James has played this game once,
Yeah.
and that was got to have been a year ago.
No, longer than that.
Yeah.
Longer than
Longer
that. Well,
than
there you
that,
go.
yeah.
Longer than a year. He's only played it once, and it's fresh in your. He came when he got here earlier. It was the first thing he asked me, "What is the name of that game?"
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I had to remind him the name of the game. But yeah, it was fresh in your mind. You've just explained it perfectly, and your memory is just as bad as mine.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't have been able to sit there and tell you all the different bits of, with the trolls and stuff like that. I wouldn't have remembered that. The fact that you've remembered that after one play.
Yeah, it's just, it's a game that has stuck with me. And again, it's one of those games that's kind of, like you said, sat in the back of my mind going, I really need to ask Ant to bring that to a game night again because I really want to play it again.
Yeah.
It'll tell you.
Yeah, and it's, again, before, as I said in the intro, before you put that down on the table, I'd never heard of it.
Did you not?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, that's quite an old game. I think it's like 2015. So I thought you guys had already played it before. I think it's 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
something like that.
2015.
It is. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I've got it. I've got on my list. I've actually got the
No,
release.
it is because the 10th anniversary is out this year.
Yeah.
So yes.
I've actually got the release date, so I know how old
Preparation
they
over
are.
it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Preparation James. Not Preparation H.
I was going to say, don't go there with that.
Excellent choice, sir. Excellent choice. And I'll be honest, I'd actually forgotten about that. And
Nice, mate.
I reckon that could have made at least the top 10 for me. So, yeah, very good choice. And
Very good choice.
what is your number 3?
My number 3 is a edition of a line of games that I like. It is the Legendary Encounters Alien Edition.
Oh, yes.
Played Legendary before I even got to the hobby years ago, and coming back to it, playing back to the Marvel one again. I never knew of the Alien franchise had one, and the reason I, kicking myself for not knowing about it sooner is because it is so pricey to get hold of now. Like, it is a very, very expensive edition to get hold of, along with all the expansions and stuff as well. And I bit my bullet because I was, I really love the franchise. I think it's one of the best Alien games of the franchise around. Better than like Glorious Day in the Core, whatnot. And at the time, I was obviously playing Nemesis as well, so I was stuck to that. And again, playing that, I knew nothing of this game. So when I think I watched Game Night on YouTube once, and I was like, that's where I found out about it. And the core box alone is over £100 now. Still, regardless, it's very, very pricey. The expansions are nearly in their 50s and 60s, but it's so worth it. I love this edition of Legendary Encounters. I love Legendary Encounters anyway, but this one is really, really good. It's so stupidly hard. It makes me want to go back and play it again. But I just wish I knew about it sooner because I wouldn't have had forked out a hefty price for all of it.
Is that the one that we played probably a good couple of years ago?
It was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I remember it because that's the only time I've played it.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame because it was fantastic. And I remember you telling me about it, obviously, because I've got the expansive Marvel.
Yeah.
Legendary
Absolutely.
collection.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how the core of the game is still the same, but the game feels so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just trying to remember some of the unique game mechanisms to it.
So
It's
we had
like the rounds and stuff, they change. Don't they?
This, so
And you
you've-
can't attack
yeah.
certain things in certain
So you can
you know,
scan cards and
that's
you
it.
can the corporate was the keyword, or you can copy other players'
That was it, yeah. 'Cause the villain
cards.
like tableau thing,
That's
they
it.
come out face down
That's it,
on that
yeah.
game instead of face up. So you can't just go, oh, I've got loads of fights, so I'm going to fight this person, this person, this person.
Exactly.
In that one, it's like, no, I've got to scan Then I've got to hope that I can.
Then you've got enough
beat
to
the
fight
damn
at the same
thing.
time, yeah.
And
Before
then-
it gets to the strike zone.
Yeah,
it's
and
just,
then if it doesn't, obviously in Marvel it leaves the table,
Yeah.
whereas in this one it goes down into another section, and then it's just there's just so much
and it,
difference in the two games, despite the fact that their core is exactly the same.
Yes.
It is phenomenal, and it's a real shame that they didn't upkeep the license for that.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Obviously Marvel, we just constant. It's constant.
Yeah.
They never stop.
It's good that they're still doing that one as well, though.
But all of the other legendary games, you had the Buffy one.
That's
You
it.
had
Big Trouble Little China,
Big Trouble Little
007,
China. Yeah.
X-Files. There's loads.
They just never maintain the licenses of the encounter ones, which I think is a bit
Yeah.
of a shame. But I guess it also adds to the value of those games.
Well, this
Not
is it.
helpful if you want to buy it now, though.
Yeah, and that's why I wish I knew sooner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I had to make the list.
That's a really good choice. Very, very good choice. Are you happy for me to?
Yeah, absolutely. Go on.
Okay.
Yep.
So my number 3 is actually, I guess, a bit of a sentimental game for me because it is the very first game I played in modern board games. It was the game that got me into it, which was a Marvel game. It was Thanos Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know all of us here have played that game.
Yep.
We've played most of the Rising series.
Yeah, I
haven't played the Star Wars one.
was going to say the
Played.
Star Wars one is the only
That's
one
the
I
only
think
one
I
I
haven't
haven't
played.
Yeah.
And I saw people playing Expo with the massive
Yeah.
Darth Vader in the middle. I was like, I want that. I want to play it.
So yeah, I had to put this one on here because this one is so huge. If anything, it should be number 1. But I didn't want to put it at number 1. But the main reason it had to be on here is because it is so huge. Because it is a case of representative of the entire board game industry.
Yeah.
Because for so long, Ian was badgering me to play board games, and I was that guy that was like, no, board games are Monopoly, Cluedo, and other rubbish that have given me nightmares for my entire life. So I fought it for so long, and eventually I was a huge Marvel fan, and he got me. He managed to pin me into a corner, beat me to a pulp, and got me to play Thanos Rising, and I never looked back. It was the game that got me into the industry, got me going, oh my god, this was amazing. The next thing I played was Marvel Legendary, because he figured Marvel, I'm in on
Keep it
Marvel.
going
He's
with it,
got
yeah.
me with Marvel, and it worked. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. What else is there? Oh, we played that. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. What else is there? And then eventually I slowly started branching out until
look
I
where you are
found
now.
the likes of Scythe and Wingspan. And then I've never looked back.
And then
gates were open.
and then your wallet started to cry.
yes.
Then he discovered Kickstarter, and it was all downhill from there.
Downhill from there.
It was. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I could easily put games from Kickstarter on this list.
Yeah. See,
I had to wait
Yeah, I
over a
pondered
year
that
for
myself.
this.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, I'd like just a quick scan of the games around here. I was like, I could have put that on there, but no, really, there wasn't any sort of, why didn't we play this sooner? Because we did. As soon as it dropped through your,
Yeah.
as soon as it was delivered in the post, we played it. So
Yeah,
it was like there
that
wasn't
was-
really any waiting apart from waiting
Yeah.
for Kickstarter to
That's
deliver.
kind of why a lot of Kickstarter games didn't make its way onto my list, purely because it's like, well, no, the wait was because I had to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
because it's
big.
been out.
Yeah, and we just didn't know about it, which is how I formed most of my list. Was like, I was like, I should have known about this by the time I was playing it, or I was brand new to the hobby, and I was like, yeah, but why have I not heard about these before? Because, like you said, my idea of board games before I got into this was, Risk, Monopoly, Cluedo.
That stuff. Yeah. So Thanos Rising, huge impact on my gaming life, and I would say by extension yours as well, because you wouldn't have got into it.
Yeah,
if I hadn't have gotten into it, and that was what got me in.
Yeah, I would say Thanos Rising was on my honorable mentions because I don't think it had quite the effect on me it had on, because I viewed it, I still didn't view it as a board game. It was more of a novelty sort of thing. It's like, Marvel's all over the place at the moment, and they've released this little game was
Yeah.
almost like, you know, riding the wave sort of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't view it as my step into board gaming.
Yeah, I guess the only reason I did is because, as you said, Marvel was all over everything, and this was the one thing that sort of stood out, you know. And there's been countless Marvel games since, and among other IPs that are just blatant cash cows.
Yeah.
Whereas even now, I don't view Thanos Rising as a cash cow. There have been some of the Rising series that I view as a cash cow,
Yeah.
but Thanos Rising, the first one, just didn't fit that bill for me. So yeah, it holds a special place in my heart. I don't own the game anymore, unfortunately, but you know, it's huge. If it wasn't for that game,
None of this would be how possible.
this wouldn't be here. Meeple Minded wouldn't be here. It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
the one that started it all.
It is. It's the big one. So let's go to our number 2. James.
So my number 2, and we spoke about it earlier, but I had to put it on here, was Rock Hard 1977.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I knew you've held this since Essen, and after playing it on Wednesday, it was, why haven't we got this to the table sooner? It's speaks to both of us. It's like, this should have been, in my view, the game that hit the table as soon as you got back from Essen.
Yeah. Yeah, and ultimately the only reason it didn't is because I looked at the rulebook and went, nope.
Understandable, but yeah, it's like, from that thematic point of view, it was this game should have been bang straight on the table because it speaks to both of us.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we could get you to speak about it more, but you've spoken about it at length in this very show.
Indeed, but yeah, it is there for that. It's like, why didn't we get this to the table as soon as you got back?
Yeah, Jason, why?
Yeah. What do you think about it? And you haven't played it. Okay, no worries.
Nice dick.
Knife in the back. Yep. I mean, I won't add any more to that because we have talked about it already. So let's not waste anybody's time. The picture's been on the screen enough. So yeah, awesome. And what is your number 2, sir?
My number 2 is going to be the same reason for why my number 3 is. I was very late to the game, but my number 2 is Star Wars Imperial Assaults.
Oh, okay.
So, reason why I didn't play this sooner, I knew of the game, but I thought it was going to be a game along the lines of Outer Rim and X-Wing and whatnot. Very big Star Wars heavy game, and Star Wars Legion as well.
Yeah.
Turns out that's not the case at all. It's a dungeon crawler, but with Star Wars characters. And I never knew about this at all until I saw a copy being sold on Facebook with all the minis painted, and it was selling it dead cheap. And I was like, if I can learn the rules to this game, I'll buy it, which I did. And it's just great. We had a lot of fun playing this last year. Me and my guys from my podcast, and they were coming back to do the next mission, the next side mission, and I was playing as the Empire, so it was quite. He's essentially the dungeon master, if you will, and he's like, I love the reaction when an AT-AT comes to the board, or when the next Darth Maul pops up, or another Imperial champion or whatever, and just their reactions, like with the dice throws and everything. We had such a blast of it, and I'm kicking myself I didn't know this sooner, because again, it's not produced anymore now. The expansions are heavily priced. Like, there's a Hoth one where you have to do your missions Hoth, and that goes for well over £100.
Yeah.
And that's for an extra 5 missions or whatever, which I can't justify that. But I went to Expo looking for even just extra characters, and I think I found one in all of Expo. It just goes to show that this place, this board game is dead now, and you'll be very lucky to find a part of it, on the cheap.
Yeah.
And if I could, if I really wanted to, splash out for it, but I just wish I knew about it sooner. I wish I didn't think of it going, it was this game when it was actually this gorgeous bit of a game, and I'm so gutted I didn't do it a whole lot sooner.
Yeah.
So that's why it's number 2.
That's a fair reason.
Yeah.
That's a fair reason.
Imperial Assault was always one that because if I remember correctly, it's part of the Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Fantasy Flight. Yeah. So I got drawn into X-Wing when we were still heavily into our tabletop stuff. X-Wing and Armada, which were the other two.
Armada, that's it.
Yeah,
that
which were the other two like sort of big Fantasy Flight tabletop games. I always saw the Imperial Assault stuff sitting next to it, but for some reason it never drew me like the other two did.
Yeah.
which is weird, really, because I was kind of the same. Like, I obviously never got into X-Wing and stuff like that, but really, Imperial Assault, just the miniatures alone should have dragged me in.
I think for both you and me at the time, we were sort of looking at it going, oh, is it basically Warhammer with Star Wars IP put on top of it? No, it's not. It's a dungeon crawler. So
Yeah.
Is the Legion, Star Wars Legion, the Warhammer version?
It is.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking it was with it. So yeah, kind of gutted about that, but it is what it is. I have a copy of it, but you know, I'm not splashing out hundreds of pounds for.
It's understandable. And I will say that I still haven't played it.
Maybe not.
No, I haven't either.
I think you guys would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to give that a go at some point. So yeah, very, very good choice on that one. So this one for me is again, it's another game I put off playing for a little while. I sort of always turn my nose up at it. But it's another one I have to give credit to Wayne from Board Stupid for. He finally got me to play it, which was Smartphone Inc.
This was very close to going on my list.
Was it?
Very close.
I thought it might have been. I figured it might be an honourable mention.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, the game, I didn't fight it for too long. It didn't have the wingspan effect. But I saw the board and I was like, what on earth is this? It looks like a dentist surgery. It looked boring. And I just wasn't really interested. But I think the stars aligned for whatever reason. I believe I was free. There was no other games on the table. And boom, I was in there. I played it. First round, I think, was when it clicked. When I was in the middle of the first round, I was like, this game's awesome. I love this game. I need to play this game more. And obviously a consequence of that was, why on earth didn't you want to play this before? So what if it looks like a dentist surgery? This game is amazing. So there you go. Smartphone Inc. Really, really good game. I think it's a very underrated game.
Yes, definitely.
I think too many people do the same as I did. They look at it and go, ugh. And you know what? I saw someone playing it at the club on Monday night, and I walked past the table and I went, oh, do you know what? I haven't played that in ages. I want to play that. Unfortunately, it was a full game, so I couldn't join. But it made me come home and go, oh, yes, I've still got it. I didn't pass it on, sell it on. We're going to play that soon. I really love Smartphone Inc. Fantastic game. Should have played it sooner.
Yeah.
It's a very misleading theme, isn't it? Because it's a game about phones. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to play something like that?
Like, we've spoken about it at length on this podcast about how that would be my example game for why theme and table presence are so important to board gaming.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have table presence, like you said. It's a white, very, very white board. It doesn't look like there's that much going on in it, which is, I think, what produces that whole, oh, that game's not going to be very good when you first see it. And as you said, when you actually sit down and play it and those mechanics come out, it's addictive.
Yeah.
That game.
Yep.
It is. And almost every time we've played it, immediately after, I'm like, I want to play it again. I want to play it again. So, yeah, very, very good game. That's why it is my number 2.
Good pick, mate. Honestly,
Indeed.
I was super surprised with that game as well when Wayne introduced it to us. So yeah, good pick.
So the big number ones.
The number one.
James.
I don't think anyone will be surprised as to what my number one is. Why? Number one game that I wish I'd played or heard of sooner, and that is Nemesis.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah.
So why did I even contemplate it for a sec?
It had to be.
That's a good pick, mate.
Yeah, it had to be. I've already forgotten the name of the YouTube channel.
At the time, it was No Rolls Barred.
Yeah, No Rolls Barred.
Or is it still No
Still No
Rolls
Rolls
Barred?
Barred.
Yeah,
No Rolls
no Rolls Barred. I, in a rare instance, watched a board game related
Yeah.
YouTube video. Watched their video on Nemesis. I think it was a Halloween video.
Something like that. Yeah.
It might not have been a dedicated Nemesis video. It might have been a games to play at Halloween type video. And that came up. And I don't know if it was their particular style of making the video because it was quite a comical one from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that video and going, why have I never heard of this game? It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It was amazing because I remember you messaged me about it and asked me, and I'd obviously heard of it because I think at the time I'd actually played it. From what I remember, I think I played it with. Did I play it with you and Wayne, or was it just with Wayne?
You probably played with me and Wayne.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I'd already played it, and I'd sort of say, oh yeah, it's this. It's really really good. But what surprised me more is that again, it was a totally unsolicited board game YouTube view on your part.
Yeah.
It's as someone who doesn't consume board game content that much on YouTube.
What made you click on that video, by the way?
It was you, Jason, who had introduced me to their channel in the first place.
Yeah, I think they're top 10 lists and stuff
sort
like
of thing. So I think I was just bored one night, so I just decided to click on the video that they'd put out, and Nemesis was featured on it. And it was one of those moments.
What is this?
What is this? Why have I never heard of it?
How can I get hold of it?
It screams Alien, which is a franchise that I love, and the mechanics, the whole you have to work together, but you constantly want. There's the social deduction elements.
Yeah.
Who's going to stab me in the back while we're working towards these common goals? Yes, it will always be him. Even if he doesn't have the
Kingmaker.
objective to stab you in the back, the first thing you do when playing Nemesis with Jason is blow him out the airlock.
Full stop.
Yeah. So, what is your first move? Jason dies.
Yeah, he's usually the way, to be fair.
Lock Jason in with the nest.
Yes. I say we dust off and nuke him from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Friggin' A.
Jason's first move, run down this corridor.
But
Make
no,
as much noise as possible.
he's a great pick, mate. Do you know what? I've not played Nemesis in ages. I miss Nemesis.
Yeah.
We need to get that to the table
We
at
do.
some point because
It's got to be a year and a
can't-
half since we last
Yeah,
played it.
it can't be too long until the new one gets.
it's meant to be July this year, but I'm not holding my breath. It'll probably be December, in honesty.
I've heard
But it is.
nothing
But it
about
is. I got an update the other day, and they said they'll start shipping in July. So it'll probably be, like I said, December.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm not holding my breath for it to be this year, but I would like it to be this year.
yeah, and no, I don't think anyone was surprised that that's going to be my number one. It's really the only game that I've ever gone out and bought.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. I
yeah.
mean, we know that you've actually bought another game.
I have bought games since, but for a very long time. But you know,
That was the one that made you instantly go.
yeah. Thanks, no rolls barred for separating me from £100, but you know, worth it.
Yeah. It was a very,
But
very
it's
good
one you
purchase.
wish you knew sooner about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nice choice, sir. Very nice choice. What about you, Anne? What is your number one?
So my number one is kind of like what James mentioned about being introduced to worker placements. So I had gone through a phase where I was only playing social deduction games, but this was my first game playing a worker placement game, and it is Dungeons and Dragons: Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So Simon introduced this to me from Board Chibi. Thank you, Simon, for that. Now, the reason why I wanted to know about this sooner is because, again, I never played a worker placement game. And it just opened up my world to worker placements. That whole part of me, the first time of me experiencing, I want to do this, but I want to do that, you know, and I want another turn to this and do that. The fact I didn't play it because it has Dungeons and Dragons written on it. I am in no way, shape, or form a Dungeons and Dragons player. I would love to. I just don't have the imagination for it. So I was put off for this game for ages. And when Simon said, look, just do it. Just because it has Dungeons and Dragons, don't put you off. Finally got it to the table. And I just had so much fun with it. I literally bought the game the next day.
Nice.
I was so into like worker placements now. And now that's where I've gone from Lost Ruins of Arnag, White Castle, and all that sort of stuff. It is my absolute favorite genre of board game is worker placement. I'm not good at them, but I love them. I just love the feel and what they make me want to do. And I can't get to do it because I don't have enough time, meeples, whatever. But the quests you do in that game, the places you can build shops, and if other people go in, then you get taxed from and stuff. Oh my God, there's just so much to it. I love it. And I wish I played this sooner. Had to be my number one. Only because it had Dungeons and Dragons written on it, and I was stupid enough not to play it sooner.
Nice. Well, I can totally reflect on that because I haven't actually played that game.
If you're not, dude, you'll love it. It's a lot of fun, honestly.
My partner absolutely loves that game. But again, the theme does put me off. And I'll be honest, looking at the board, it puts me off as well.
The board is very bland. It's literally just a map of the town. And it's very beige and very yellowy, which I get. I understand that. But don't let it put you off, honestly, mate. We should get it to the table, give it a try. It is a lot of fun.
It is a game that people do keep trying to get me to play, but nearly always when it's offered, there's something else that I'm like, no, I'd rather play that.
That's totally honest. Because again, I was like that. So, but yeah, if you get a chance, mate, highly recommend it.
I would like to play it at some point. It's another one that's on the list of games I want to play. So, yes, good choice, sir. Good choice.
Thank you.
Now, my number one. I'm surprised that this is my number one, if I'm honest. But I'm cheating somewhat because I'm going to lump in a couple of games in this bit. But they are part of the same series.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So I am going to say that my number one is Seven Wonders Duel and Architects.
Nice.
I can't put normal Seven Wonders in it because I still haven't played it.
Okay.
Now, they're in there because they were games that I looked at and went, they're lightweight games. By the time I'd heard of them, I was already onto my sites.
Yeah.
I was already on to, bigger and better games. So I was kind of above Seven Wonders. And it's still kind of the same as for your base Seven Wonders. That's why I haven't played it, because again, when it comes to the table, there's nearly always something else for me to play that's going to test my brain a bit more. So I'm going to go for that. But yeah, Seven Wonders Duel, that one didn't get played because, again, it was a two-player thing. I was like, nope, don't play two-player games. Don't play two-player games. Don't play solo games. Don't play two-player games. Architects, it had the Seven Wonders thing on it. Wasn't interested. Eventually, I played Architects with yourself.
Yep.
You explained to me that it wasn't, it wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. And we played it, and I absolutely loved it. That made me want to go and play Seven Wonders Duel. I played Seven Wonders Duel. Very, very good. That led me on to wanting to play Lord of the Rings Duel, because that is a Seven Wonders Duel game.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good game. Would I have played it if I hadn't have played those other two?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have done. No matter how much hype it was getting, there was no way I was going to do it because it was a Seven Wonders game.
Yeah.
So those two games had to be number one because, again, it's opened me up to playing something that I played last year and actually became one of my top 5 of the year.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
So they're responsible for that. They are responsible for that. And Architects is a fantastic game. My partner loves it. She bought it as well. We have played it a couple of times. But yeah, very, very good game. Absolutely love it. Really fun. I think you've played Architects, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. You introduced me to Architects at one of the Paradise festivals. It was in the library.
Yes.
I think that was not long after you'd actually played it, because I believe that was one of the you have to try this game sort of moments.
Yeah, it wasn't it might have been last year, actually, now I think about it. Yeah, very, very, very fun game. Just the whole building.
Yeah, I
really,
mean,
really cool.
I bought Architects, played it with people, then I bought the original because I thought if Architects is good, the original's got to be good.
Yeah.
We got the original to it. Still a great game, but I think people preferred Architects.
Yeah.
A little bit more colorful, a little bit more friendly, a little bit more basic. There's not so many symbols you have to remember compared to the original. And then I've not played the original Seven Wonders Duel, but we've played the Lord of the Rings one. I love the Lord of the Rings Duel, so it makes me want to play the original Seven Wonders Duel. So, but no, very good pick, sir.
Yeah, especially as they are one in the same game with a couple of different things. But yeah, it's not bad. But yeah, that's my number one. And we had some little crossovers.
Yeah, two
in that list. Yeah, obviously the unique situation where all three of us that had our number 5 being Scythe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting mix. I don't think we've ever had a three-way.
Not a three-way, no.
Three-way like that. But yeah, how did you find it? What did you think of all the games that were talked about here?
Yeah, there's a good mix of games. Are we going to do a couple of honourable mentions?
If you've got some honourable mentions, now would be the time.
Yeah, so only really one for me. Didn't quite make it onto the list. Was Flashpoint.
Oh, okay, yeah. Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
Yeah, which was very good game. Again, came out before I was really into the whole modern board gaming thing. And again, the theme of being a firefighter and fighting fires, it was like once you add in that expansion that changes the way the fire spreads, the game is just, it's punishing.
Oh yeah.
But it's so good.
It is great fun, isn't it? Really good fun. Do you know what? I'd not thought about putting it on the list because I know as soon as I was told about that game, I'd already played a few.
Yeah.
So I then played it immediately. But yeah, it'd been out for quite some time before even I played it. So I could have said, oh yeah, I wish I played this sooner.
Yeah.
But I'd already put in Thanos Rising, which kind of explained why I hadn't played that game.
You obviously own it, and if I remember correctly, my basically first experience of Flashpoint was very close to the beginning of my journey into board gaming.
Yeah.
So it was one of those unique perspectives of I didn't realize there were board games like this.
Mm-hmm.
And why didn't I know there were board games like this?
Yeah.
You know, very themed games that actually pull you in, not just generic board, you know, as we keep saying, the generic stuff that you've seen since you were a kid.
Yeah. Flashpoint is a very good one. I hadn't even thought to add that as an honourable mention. All the ones I'd really put down, we've already talked about throughout this episode of Lost Ruins of Arnak, Rock Hard. So yeah, have you got any honourable?
Yeah, so we mentioned one was just Smartphone Inc. That was very close to going. It got pushed up to number 6. I was going to mention Flamecraft, but it was a Kickstarter, so I couldn't really put it on the list.
Yeah.
I was put off of that because I didn't like the artwork. I thought it would be too much of a kiddie game for me.
Yeah.
Turns out that wasn't the case at all. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have gone back and Kickstarted that. But I didn't put it on the list because it was Kickstarter. And last but not least, Dinogenics was going to be on there.
Okay. Yeah.
Because at the time I played Dinosaur Island, not Dinosaur World because it wasn't out at the time.
Yeah.
But because I played Dinosaur Island, I didn't think, well, I don't need to play another game based on that sort of thing. But good God, I wish I had because Dinogenics is better than Dino Island. And I'm not being biased on that because it's yours. I actually do prefer Dinogenics to Dino Island.
I think it was a few years after.
It was.
Because World was already out before you got to play it.
It's funny. I'd completely forgotten. That's another game potentially that I'd completely forgotten about that could actually potentially knock Scythe off of number 5 spot. Because if I'm actually remembering correctly, Dinosaur Island would have been my first modern board game because Ian brought it to the club.
Very possibly. Yeah.
And again, that kind of game surprised me because Ian was very much into his family games, and it's just sort of like, again, to me, it was like, this game is so in depth. It's giving me a headache because of its psychedelic color scheme, but
yeah, no, that's
so that gets an honorable mention.
Yeah, so I didn't put things like Arc Nova, Dinogenics, Flamecraft because like there's the Kickstarter effect. It's like I knew about them, and they were.
It's not like they.
Hence why I didn't make one.
And as soon as they got delivered, they were on the table.
Yeah, I will put one in there, and you'll probably agree with me on this one. Unfair. Because it was out for quite some time before we even learned about it.
I didn't even think of that. That would have gone on the list.
So, yeah, Unfair.
Yeah, good shout.
Again, why didn't I play this before? Because I didn't know about
Didn't know about it, no.
So,
that was.
Oh, my God.
That was a lucky discovery at last year's Expo.
It was, yeah. Oh, good shout. I completely forgot about that.
Yep, so there you go. There's a fair amount of games that we've talked there, but I thought
we also had good picks, mate. We still had good picks.
Yeah, no,
See, I'm spotting another one up there that, well, I haven't played yet, that I get the feeling is going to be on this list if we ever do it again.
Yeah.
Which is Theme Park Mania,
Yes.
because we haven't learnt it.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling when we play that, that's going to be why the hell didn't we learn this sooner?
Yeah. I mean, basically, we could redo this in like a year's time. And it'd be 5 more games we wish we played sooner.
Yeah.
The top 5 games we didn't get to play in 2024.
Yeah. It'll be the other games that we haven't played from Essen, basically.
Yeah, basically.
That's what it'll be. But yeah, thank you very much for coming along, guys. It has been
Thank you.
fun. Is there anything else you want to talk about today before we bid adieu to these wonderful people?
No.
No, I think we've covered everything.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we have to do the extra bits here now, James, because obviously it's video as well. We still love our audio fans, but we have to cater for the YouTube people as well. So yes, obviously, if you have liked what you have seen and you are on YouTube, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, all of that YouTube jazz. If you are listening on the audio show, thank you very much for sticking with us. You can give us a follow if you're not already a subscriber to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Yeah, you can do that. If you're on Spotify, you can leave a comment.
Put down your top 5s. Tell us yours.
There'll be a poll on Spotify as well where you can tell us which ones we were wrong about, which ones we were right about, all that kind of jazz. There's lots of fun things going on with regards to the Meeple Minded. James is back. He's probably going to disappear again for another 7 months. So look forward to seeing him again soon. And I hope you're going to be...
I'll be here.
You'll be around. I will always be here. Poor people. I'm the poor face that they always say.
Yeah. If I disappear again, Jason, when I come back, I expect a WWE style return.
Oh yeah, we'll have some sparklers and some like poppers and all sorts.
Yeah.
You will be...
Good old JR announcing my return.
Maybe we need the Meeple Minded Hall of Fame ceremony. That's what we need. James is inducted into the Hall of Fame. But yes, I think we can go.
We'll sign off
for another couple of weeks. Obviously, it's going to be 2 weeks before you hear the podcast again. But do please check out all the videos on the YouTube channel. I put a lot of effort into them. No, I don't really. But
he does.
There's a little bit in there. But until next time, I have been Jason.
I have been James.
I've been Ant.
And you have been watching or listening to the Meeple Minded. Join us next time for more tabletop gaming goodness.
Ta-ta and
goodbye.